Well, hello everybody. I want to say couture crafters, but maybe you are a sewer because all of a sudden I'm doing quilting videos. What? It's because it is my new love. I started quilting 2 years ago and I am obsessed. I can't stop. I hit the ground running. I dove in head first, and I can't stop, and I make no apologies for it. And so today I want to talk about English paper piecing. I was asked by my followers to start videoing. Actually, they asked me a while ago to start videoing my journey, with my quilting journey. And I just had all the excuses in the world. My space isn't big enough. Nobody's going to want to watch it, blah, 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 blah. You will talk yourself out of a blessing sometimes, whatever. So English paper piecing, I'm starting it. I started it 2 days ago. And before I start anything, I really try to watch all the YouTube videos and learn as much about it as I can. And I feel like this could be my thing, maybe. I really enjoyed it. Some things went terribly wrong, as they should when you're first starting out. I'm going to show you what goes wrong because I don't care, everybody's got to learn somewhere. So one of the reasons why I started it is because I've been feeling anxious lately, like just have all this anxiety, and I'm like, that's a mess. And one of the ways that people cope with that is by doing things that kind of bring in mindfulness and just slowing down. And I think this might be a great way to combat some of that. The world is a hot mess right now, and I think that a lot of people might be turning to EPP. It's actually, there's a slow stitching, slow sewing movement, and it's about jumping off of your machine, turning stuff off, sitting still, not being on Instagram and YouTube all day, like just slowing down. And so I've started. I think I'm in love with it. I think I am. I'm not sure. Again, 2 days ago, and some things went terribly wrong, but I feel like that's on me, not on the actual English paper piecing. Another reason why I started is because my husband goes fishing, and he's asked me to come along, and I'm like, well, right? That's exactly what happened. And I thought, okay, what if I could be sitting there sewing, maybe listening to a book, because all I'm gonna do if I go fishing with him is talk his ear off, and I don't think that's really what he wants. So I was like, let me get a kit together. So I put together a kit that can come with me. Now what I really want is a bag by Annie, but I don't know who's gonna make that for me, and I'm not starting bags until next year. I'm gonna try to make a bag, but who's gonna make me a bags by Annie? Ooh, I know who could make me a bag, but Charlotte, she's making all the other things. Anyway, so I went to Michael's and grabbed this. This is just one of their tidy, or Donnie's, whatever. This is one of their little things, and it's got a little handle here so I can take it with me. And this is the kind of project that you can do while you're sitting at the doctor's office waiting. Maybe somebody's in the hospital and you just want to sit next to them, although I don't think we can do that right now. It's one of those, you're waiting on somebody at the dentist office or whatever. It's just a way for you to not be on your phone scrolling, but doing something different. So in this is a glue pen, a fabric marker. Actually, this is a friction pen, which works for people in LA because our weather doesn't get super cold, but you might want to be careful where you're drawing with this, because if it gets super cold, it might show up again. I mean, you just heat it up, it'll go away, but you get it. A ton of glue pen refills, Sew Tights for days. These are those little, I have a 15 pack of these guys, and everybody who EPPs swears by them. I have some horrible needles. Don't worry, I hit up Amazon and they have my Hiroshima 10 big eye needles at the house. So don't worry, because the needles is one of the places where it went wrong. I tried this huge butt 12 size 1 needle. This was just a fail. When I tell you this is not what you want to use to EPP. Don't do this. It will have you upset and you won't love what you're producing. That was a fail. I have a needle, so you can thread a bunch of needles and it will hold them for you. I have yet to try it, but it's in here because at some point I'll use it. A tiny pair of scissors with a curve to them so that I can clip really close to the fabric. And then I have some thimbles. And then underneath my special tray, I think I had a rotary cutter in here, but I really don't believe I'm going to be rotary cutting on the move. I'm telling you, I'm not going to be rotary cutting on the move. I will just be sewing. So I have a little bit of fabric. I have the pattern. I'm doing the pollinate quilt. And I have some pieces, which you use to, they're like the foundation to your fabric when you fold it over. Don't worry, the video is coming. It's going to show you how I am doing this. And then it has in here the stuff that I'm sewing. This is the one that went terribly wrong. I'm not ashamed to show you that all the stitches are showing, every single last one of them. But I got to start somewhere. And then here are more pieces. This is the second part that's going to go on there. And I'll be able to just carry this little guy around with me. I'll toss it in the car. Heck, if I'm at In-N-Out, you know, they take a while. Chick-fil-A, they take a while. Thread also is in here. I want Invisifil thread. I want to try it. I want to try a thread that is thinner than 50 weight. So remember, the larger the number, the thinner the thread. So I would really like to try 100 weight so that you really can't see my stitches. Even though people say you can do it with 50 weight, I'm failing with 50, but again, I just tried it, but I enjoyed it. And then I have, this is not going to come with me, but people just swear by it. It's a rotating self-healing mat by Sue Daly, who is one of the queens of English paper piecing. And I just have that to make cutting around the shapes a little bit easier. But because I'm using solids, I really don't need a precision rotary cutter around the things. I'm not doing any kind of like the matching of the points and all. I'm not doing any of that. Like when it looks like a kaleidoscope, no. Fussy cutting, not doing it. I am hacking away because, again, I'm using solids on this particular quilt. And I'm really excited about it. I like the way that it's turning out already. All of my 2 sections. One of which is not even done. This is supposed to be the center. I'm going to try this bad boy a few more times and see if I can get the stitches not to show, but you can totally tell where I started and then the last one that I did where the stitches show less. They show a little less in some areas, but hey, everybody's got to start somewhere. So again, English paper piecing, I'm starting it right now. I'm going to show you guys how I did that star. And hopefully you guys will start doing something, maybe crochet, maybe knitting. I'm assuming that I'm not the only person feeling anxious in 2020, which is why all of a sudden there's a whole slow stitching movement going on. But all that to say, thanks so much for stopping by. I hope you guys try it, and see you in the next video. Bye-bye.
Okay, let's start off by taking out our papers. So the papers are going to be the foundation to the quilt. They will be removed later on, but this is what I'm going to be wrapping the fabric around. I took out the actual template. I took out my little cutting guy here, my cutting board, which is crazy because I'm trying to cut the salvage off right now. I have a small rotary cutter and it's not cutting. I'm like, what the heck have I been doing with my rotary cutters? Whenever I come up to this particular space, quilting does not work. I don't know why. I just would never imagine that those things would be so dull that they don't cut. I have a ton of rotary cutters, and for whatever reason, the cute ones just are dull. I don't know why, but I'm not going to worry about it because I, again, am not doing any fussy cutting, which would be like cutting something out specifically with the design or pattern trying to get around it. I'm just using solids. So I can cut at this fabric just about any way I want to, as long as the shape is larger than the paper. So that little template there has a 3/8 inch border around it. And the little diamond in the middle is the same size as the paper. So I trace around that acrylic template just using a friction pen, which should disappear with an iron. And I'm sticking, see again, you can really tell that it's 3/8 around the side. So I'm trying to get it as close to the center as I can. And I'm taking this glue pen, and it's a temporary hold. It does not have to survive the apocalypse. And I'm just gluing around the sides. Now you can't see here, but the very, very end does not have any glue on it. I'm going up just a little bit. And I'm pushing the fabric onto the paper. I'm not pulling it down, because when you pull it down, it gets a little wonky. So again, I am taking the glue stick, and I'm not putting a ton of glue down, but I'm doing it with the same amount of pressure that I would write with a pencil. And I'm just gluing on the fabric, onto the paper, onto the fabric for this last one. And those little dog ears, don't worry about those. You'll be able to move those out of the way and stitch around them. So let's do it again. I'm showing you pretty much all of them because I'm just starting. So why not show it all? With this glue, I'm using it flat. I'm not using the edge of it. I'm just using it all kind of at one time. And I think the glue stick probably is about 1/4 inch. So I'm not getting any glue on my fingers. I thought I had cut enough. I did not. So I have to revisit this piece. And we will cut around it again. This is a Kona solid. I think it's Shark. I'm not sure what color it is. And I bought a lot of yards, but I'm wondering if I got enough. I don't know. We'll see. The way that the Pollinate quilt shows to the left on that pattern is not the way that I'm going to be doing mine. So we shall see how that works. And so we're going around again. We're just gluing, as you can see, on the fabric, onto the paper, on the fabric, onto the paper, on the fabric. And then I come the other direction for this very last side to make sure that I'm getting glue on the fabric, but I don't want to just push it out the way. So this is where the fail starts. Why would I use the world's biggest needle to do this? I mean, when I say that needle might as well be the size of a pencil. It is huge. And I probably should have used the blue So Tight. The purple one, it's small and it kind of wiggled around a little bit. I think the blue one might be a little bit more sturdy, but of course I bought all of the sizes of the So Tight. So I have options. You can see that I threaded the needle while it was still on the spool. Do that so that you're sure to get your thread going the right direction. Thread actually has hairs. There's actually a direction that you should be sewing. When you go the opposite direction, you're going to get friction and you're going to tear up your thread. So thread your needle while it's still on the spool to be sure that your thread is going in the right direction. So now I'm putting them together. I'm lining them up. I laid them down so that I could see which side I was supposed to be sewing to what. And now I'm taking this needle and I'm doing what they call a whip stitch. I'm tearing this thing up. This needle is so big compared to the needles that are suggested that I use, which hadn't come in yet. I have them now. I haven't tried them, but they are shorter and way more fine than this. The thread that I'm using is 50 weight. I want to actually try a 80 weight, which would make the thread thinner. So the higher the number, the thinner the thread. I want to try 80 weight and a 100 weight. So then here you go. You can see this is what it looks like after I've stitched it. And it's just a whip stitch. And I was all excited, hoping that my stitches were not going to show on the front. I was waiting for the big reveal. And when you see it, all you can see are the stitches. Look at all those stitches. Oh my goodness. That is a fail. I see people do this and you can't even tell that it's been sewn. So I have to practice a bit with my technique, but we're just starting out and we'll figure it out together. So now let's do another shape. I've never done this shape before. I've never done anything before. This is my first time. But I've decided that I want to put just a little bit of glue to hold these puppies in the center. I was noticing on the other ones that the insert, the paper insert was kind of slipping around. And so let's just tack it down a little bit. And I'm starting on the side, and I'm just working my way around, still putting glue on the fabric and the paper and pushing the paper up. This side, this particular paper has a lot of different sides to it. And I was concerned that I wasn't starting in the right place, that the little dog ears, were going to be in the wrong place. But it worked out just fine, actually. My allergies are kicking up. I don't know what's going on. It's probably this weather that doesn't know if it wants to be cold or hot. So again, I'm tacking it down just a little bit. Then I'm putting the paper right in the center, pushing it down, and starting on the side and just gluing. So like I was saying, this kind of is a slow stitching time where people are doing this type of thing to just relax, calm their anxieties, and so forth. And honestly, the minute that I started this, I just relaxed. My shoulders went low. My jaw wasn't clenched. I was like, really? I've also been told that they have done this forever, and soldiers sometimes will use this to combat their PTSD. So I suggest you guys try it. And I haven't sewn these together just yet, but that's going to be my next phase. Thanks for hanging out. Bye-bye.